Hello everybody, this is where we left off and I'm going to show you what we are aiming to do. So if we check out the final results, so we save it here. So we are aiming to get this effect and we are well on our way. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. So let's get back to business. So we are here and this is our setup for now. And we can remove this sphere here. So now we want to add some noise to this one here, and I'm actually just gonna lower this one here. It was a little bit too much. That's cool. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some noise, and the way to do that, if you look here, so this is the part that we did to measure. So this returns a value between 0 and 1. So this is if we do. So here is 0, and here, well, actually, let's see. Then we flipped it here. So here is 0, and here is 1. So if we multiply this value, that always between 0 and 1, we will have a noise only inside this area. So whatever we get out here, we're going to multiply it with something. And then we're just going to plug it in here. So now you see it doesn't really happen anything, but now we can kind of control it. So this is going to be our input for the noise. So we're going to use it here, and what we're going to do, we're going to get position. So we get the position for each particle, and what we want to do, if you see here, the particle is kind of up here because the particle's center is at the top of each pillar. But we want to measure the distance from the down here. So even if the pillar is up here, we want it to measure on this grid down here, on this grid. So it's going to be down here somewhere. So what we're going to do, if we just do this per lin noise. Berlin noise. So I think we only need a single for this one. Or 3, I don't know. Anywho, yeah, I think we need 3 dimensions because we're going to plug it in here. So, or we can actually just use 2 because we are only going to use the X and Z. But I'm going to use 3 anyway because it can be a little bit messy. So sorry for messing around. But we're going to make a noise. So we have the position. And if we just plug it into an add and plug it into coordinate like this. And now we have a noise. So we're going to put something in here later. But I just added it on now. But we have a noise here. So if we add the noise here, and see what's happening. Now you see it's kind of going interesting, it's going bananas. And the reason is because we are also calculating the eye position here, and that's a problem. So what we need to do, we need to remove this. We want only to measure the X and Z position. So now we have it much more stable. And now you wonder, okay, so we have something in here and that's going to be time. We're going to get the VFX time. And let's see, we just plug it into the... Here we want a vector, we have that, we want a vector here. So that's good. And that got a little bit messy. Now it's okay. So... if we do total time, we just plug it in here. And now it's going to move much more smoother and nicer. So that's perfect. And you see it's actually going down under because we can see that color values get darker. That's because we have the range here. So if we do 0 to 1 instead. And that's actually... So it's working, but the noise value is never, the noise value returns not 0 up to 1. It kind of returns from, if you look here, you see it's kind of return 0.3 up to 1 maybe. So we just need to play a little bit with these values here and see what happens if we work on these values. So because it's not all down to the bottom, I'm going to use a remap to offset here. So we have, when we do multiply with a noise, it doesn't go all the way down to 0. So we can actually, if we do the measure the range and start higher, and we can even lower this one to get more interesting. Now you see it works like this, so it's better. And then if we want, we can have this area a little bit bigger. So maybe we want it like this. So this now is starting to get the result we want. So yeah. So here we have the setup. Then we can always tweak the noise a little bit here to have different setup. So you can always see what's happening. So I think I'm going to just tweak it a little bit more. So you can change that as ever you want. And that's how you tweak that. So remember, I talked about, let's see. Okay, so if we look out here, you can see, we don't see anything. So to address that, we're going to do this bounding box. I'm just going to do the bounding size. I'm going to do it like 50, 50, 50. So now the bounding box is extremely big, but that's fine. So now we can see, the particles all the time. So if we check out the smoothness here, so we don't see any breakup on the smoothness. So if we do the noise size here, now you can see it. So that's nice. But now you can see the pattern is exactly the same. So if you remember that we actually, in the shader, let's see, we have it here. We put this offset here to offset UV. So we're gonna use that now. So down here, this is the offset. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the ID. So now we have particle ID. Actually, we can take the position. So we get the position, not target position. We're gonna get position here, and then we're just gonna do multiply this one with a random float value like this. So each particle, not this 1, 2, 3, 4, because then we just kind of repeating it. I believe it's going to be the same if we do like this. No, it looks actually like it broke up. But let's say if you see a pattern here anyway, that it's kind of repeating, just multiply the offset like this. And then you break it up too. So that's how we solve this breakup like that. And then we have way too much smoothness here. So I'm just going to take it down like this. It's a little bit weaker, but it's nice to have some kind of breakup on it. So that's nice. And the last thing I want to do, I want to make sure that we don't have this kind of square thing going on. I want it to be a little bit more round and a little bit uneven edges to break it up, to make it a little bit more nicer. So to do that, so we have this part here, and here in the initialize particle, we're going to add set a live node. So before I create that node, I'm going to move this stuff a little bit. So if we do like this, set alive. And here you can decide, are they alive? Yes, of course. And here you can see set no. So if we do restart it, we won't have any particles. But we want particles, of course. So what you can do, if you just use this, and we can use a distance. So we have the center in the center. So we're going to measure from the center of the setup. So if we do distance, and then we have the position here. So if we just get the position, and then we do the distance from from the position to the center, that is 0 in this case. And then we just do a remap on this one. So here we can decide how big this is going to be. So let's say if we want it to be like 5 in the radius, then we clamp it up here, and then we put 0 here, and then whenever it's up until 5 in the radius, it's going to return 1. And if we do a floor, and let's see, we just move a little bit here, and then we do this 1 minus node like this, and we just plug it in here. Check this out. Now we made a circle. Perfect. And then of course, so we can add this property here. So we add it, float. So we're going to make a grid radius, and let's do this one to be set as initially 8. So do it like here, plug it in here. And now we can control the size like this. And then we're going to break up these edges a little bit more. So we're just going to add a tiny easy thing. So we're going to get this position, and we're just going to do an add. Like this, add node. And then we're going to take this position into a noise. So it's going to be a value noise 3D. And what we're going to do, we're going to add, we're going to make sure we have a vector and a vector like this. So we're going to add this derivatives in here and add it like this. So now we're going to have a little bit more noise edges. And the way to control this, here you can just do like, if you want it really high, you can crank it up. -2, of course. Or if you just want it like super settled, not so much, you just add it like this. So let's do 1 and -1. I think that's fine enough. So this is a setup. So now you actually seen it all. Isn't it cool? So what we're going to do, well, I'm just going to tweak it a little bit so you see what I had when I started. So now we have it here. So we have the parameters here where we can kind of control it. And then if we take the moving transform, we can have the move speed to 3 maybe, and the radius to maybe, let's do 5, a little bit bigger. So then we need this one to be, let's say, pillar size. I'm going to have pillar size to 0.25, and we're going to have 100 times. So if we do reset this one, we have it a little bit bigger. And then some other color maybe. And we're going to have a little bit more dark here. This is cool. So let's tweak the color a bit. Maybe I forgot to tweak the colors actually. So let's see the colors. And what you can do. So we have this 0, 1 value going into the color selection. So what we can do, we can just make a lerp here. Well, I mean a remap. So if we just do this remap here. So the value input is 0 to 1, and we're going to make the output 0 to 1. So now it's no change at all. So the same thing we made here, old range. We're going to crank it up a little bit. Now you get it. So here you can just tweak how you want it. So you can have a little bit exactly, or you want it a little bit more bleeding out, you know. I find that cool. Looks a little bit more alive. So yeah, my friends, I hope you liked it. So this is the final setup. So I can go over it one more time, show it in full screen so you see it. So here you have it. So here we do the grid amount in. This is the setting up the grid. And then we actually here set the live. This is where we create the circles. So we do the get position, add some noise, and then we do the distance, and here's the grid radius, and then we just do remap it and kill it. And we never touch the I value. So because we always set, we never move them in X and Y, and we recalculate the I value. So that's why we have it down here. And this is the noise part, and this is the kind of the, how to say, the area to be affected. Actually, there's one more thing we can just check and see if it works. Can we move this? So if I move this one, yeah, it works. And if this didn't work for you, let's say the cube is kind of, seems like it's over here. So if you look here, because we have this VFX property binder, maybe you accidentally put this to world. Now you see it doesn't line up at all, because it's reading the world values into the local space in the wrong way. So when we do it like this, we want the local values. So now it works. All right. Thank you so much, my friend. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up, and enjoy, and hope you're doing a really good project. And thank you so much, and have a nice day.